speaking.
I understand this is a split call. You have 5 minutes, the Honourable Willie Jackson.
Kia ora tātou. Ngā whanaunga tai mai nei tēnei wā ki te tautoko o te piri kia koe Selwyn, te whanaunga ngā mihi kia koe hoa, tika me mihi kia koe mo tō mahi ki te kōkiri. Te kaupapa, Ngāti Porou tangi ngā wā katoa ngā mihi kia koe e te whanaunga me ngā hoa me ngā whanaunga ko tai mai nei tēnei wā tēnā koutou, tēnā no tātou katoa. It was lovely hearing from the member on the other side, Madam Speaker. I was probably a little bit rough towards him last night when I talked about his whānau, and I think I was a little bit out of line, so I give my apologies there. I know the Pidwa whānau is a very proud whānau, and I wish him all the best and a very good contribution there in terms of this bill. When we talk about this bill, Madam Speaker, it's interesting, particularly in terms of pulling our hapū together, and this is the essence of this bill, the Ngā Rohe Moana o Ngā Hapū o Ngāti Porou bill. It is a challenge to bring all hapū together, and no more so that we're seeing that than in Ngāpuhi at the moment, where it is a heck of a job that our minister is going through in terms of trying to whakakotahi ngā hapū o Ngāpuhi. It is one of the biggest challenges for any minister. So I hear the references to Chris Finlayson, and I know the type of work that he did do, and his mahi will be missed, and his contribution is noted, and I think it's appropriate that the whole of the House note what he went through, because trying to pull hapū together, as has been done in this bill, is one of the toughest things that can be when you go through this process. And of course we've had 10, 11 hapū opt out for various reasons, but the reality is that we move on and we get a settlement. And you have ups and downs through these settlements, and you try and find the right way. I'll be interested, I heard Shane Jones talking about the support, I'll be interested, Madam Speaker, in terms of the relationship that the Ngāti Porou leadership tries to build with urban Māori. I think it's a tremendously important challenge, and a challenge that I've put to the leadership of Ngāti Porou for many, many years, particularly when the majority of Ngāti Porou do not live in Ngāti Porou, Madam Speaker. So in terms of the bill, what are the connections and how are the relationships are going to be recognised in terms of Ngāti Porou? How are the benefits going to be passed on? What is being set up, Madam Speaker, in terms of Ruatoria and South Auckland, Ruatoria and West Auckland, Ruatoria and Porirua, where all Ngāti Porou are around, Ruatoria and Wainui-o-Mata. These are the challenges I think that the Runanga have to work through in terms of their connection, because it's something that is in front of us at all times, something that the Honourable Shane Jones talked about, or didn't talk about, but there are these questions that sometimes that these settlements go through, and we wonder who the settlement's going to be applied to. How will everyone benefit? It's a big question in Ngāpuhi at the moment. That's why they're almost killing themselves, these all Marama Davidson's relations. Yeah, she got all the radical, so you got the radical Marama Davidson relations, don't want to sign, not interested in it. And the ones who are a little bit saner, oh no, I shouldn't say that, Marama, but the ones who want to get on with the business, Shane Jones' son, for instance, and all the other different whanaunga, they want to do the business. It's such a challenge, this treaty settlement process, but I mihi to my whanaunga, Selwyn Parata and others who have made a choice to get on with it. And they get on with it despite all the allegations of selling out the different hapū. They get those allegations. It's part of being a treaty or a tribal leader. You get caught to sell it, you get caught everything else, but you get on with the business. And the reality is, if you get into this game, Madam Speaker, you've got to take the hits that go along with it. and that's a reality. So people are not going to be happy with the deal, but I think we've got a good deal here. I mihi to the select committee who've done the business, and I think we're on track for Ngā Rohe Moana o Ngā Hapū o Ngāti Porou to come together kia whakakotahi mo te kaupapa. Kia ora no tātou katoa.
I call the Right Honourable David Carter.
Madam Speaker, thank you. Tēnā koe. Can I start